Hey guys, JoySparklebS. I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. I look worse than what I typically do, but I stayed up all night filming videos. So you're gonna see me in like the same white sweatshirt. This is light pink. It's probably faded to white since I wear it so much. And if I seem really tired, that's why. But I was only gonna put up one video today, but holy shit, something came out this morning that is just so delicious, deliciously juicy. I had to put it up. So it's, where do I even begin with this? Oh my god, it involves Sargon of Akkad, Medicare, and this amazing hypocrisy along with this really disgusting situation. So I think I'll begin with current situation and with hypocrisy, so that makes sense. So what am I talking about? Okay, for those of you that don't know, and most of you probably know who this is. There's a guy called Sargon of Akkad. This is all part of the skeptic community, the skeptics. I don't know much about him. Like, here's the truth, and this is not me being shady. I've never sat down and watched a Sargon video. I haven't. I know everybody's talked about him. I know people like him, or they did. I don't know much about him, but I know he's kind of like a ringleader of the skeptics. And oh my god. So I have been slowly being introduced to Sargon by watching Medicare and Medicare's videos lately. If you guys didn't see it this weekend, they had this big kind of back and forth stream. It was really stupid, but oh my god, the things that are coming from it are amazing. So what am I talking about? Okay, let's back up. So people have been going at Sargon quite heavily. Sargon to me comes across really arrogant, like a pompous ass. He comes across as like a faux intellectual, and people keep calling him on his crap when he doesn't know stuff. It's really funny. Like, this big thing was he was talking about Medicare, and he's like, I'm doing world things. I'm doing pan-European politics. I'm gonna be wearing a suit. I bet Medicare doesn't even own a suit. It is the most pompous, like, faux highfalutin shit you've ever seen in your life. It's hysterical. And it's funny because that's coming from me, and I'm somebody that, like, when I get angry, I can tend to get a little bit arrogant, and that's like something that I'm aware of and I work on. It's a defense mechanism. It's like habits from the people I grew up around and stuff. So it's something I try to be aware of when I'm like, when I get angry, I get defensive and stuff. So like, but this is funny. Like, he's decided to go into politics, and people are just railing on him for some of the bullshit he said and done, and he's now in UKIP, and he was going on and on about, I know politicians. I met politicians. Do you know politicians, Jim? To Medicare. It's hysterical, right? So there's all that going on with him. And so then, if you guys know Ralph Retort, if you don't, I don't need to tell you to subscribe, but go. He's really funny. He has one of the #1 shows on YouTube. Hilarious stuff. Absolutely hilarious stuff. So something came out last night. There was a clip, not just one clip, but there are 2 clips that came out. I'm going to focus on the one clip that I think is most damaging, and then maybe I'll talk about the second clip. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and play the clip in its entirety, and then I'll give my opinion. I don't even think an opinion is needed to be given when you hear this. It's disgusting. But because some people, like the skeptics, are so damn stupid, I'm gonna break it down as to why it's disgusting for some of the people that need to know. And you know the worst part? There are a lot more people that need to know why it's disgusting than you and I would really think about. And if that comes across arrogant, good, because I am solid in that statement. Sweeties, let's play the clip. Here we go.
I was well under the age of 11 when I started having sex, and so what I like to do is put people on the other side of the argument. It's like, what you have to do is you have to say that someone like me, not anybody else, but me, that I was too stupid to appreciate the nature and quality of what I was doing at the time. So please convince me I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, it depends on the child, really, doesn't it? Because some kids.
That's what the Catholics say.
Well, it's true, and it's true though. It should really be a case-by-case basis. But I can see why the whole thing. But it's not really something I'd ever put too much thought into, to be honest.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. I'm like, Sargon, are you stupid, or are these really things that you think or feel? Are you pandering? Why would you pander to this? Okay, so basically, they're talking about age of consent with children, and Sargon's like, it's a case-by-case basis. I'm gonna now break down different parts of the clip because I think I really want to touch on this. So let's listen again.
I was well under the age of 11 when I started having sex. And so what I like to do is put people on the other side of the argument. It's like, what you have to do is you have to say that someone like me, not anybody else, but me, that I was too stupid to appreciate the nature and quality of what I was doing at the time. So please convince me I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, honey, the police convinced you didn't know what you were doing because you didn't know what you were doing. I don't really understand what the argument is here. If you were, like, how do I don't even know how to put this into words. I feel stupid talking about this, but I've said this before on the previous channel with different things, and I'll say it again. Sorry if you hear puppies. It's all right. So what? How do you break that down? A child doesn't know what they're doing with sex because children, typically, the centers of their brain that have to do with consequences of their actions, like future consequences and things, it's not formed. That doesn't, like, you don't become a fully formed adult until you're 25. That's why, like, insurance companies don't want to rent, like, car, what do you call that? Like, not insurance companies, but rental companies, like car rental companies, don't want to rent to anybody who's under 25, because that's a fact. That's just a fact on how the human mind and the human brain works, as well as emotional maturity, like the reaction center. Oh my God, like, okay, so to whoever this is, you said the police convinced you didn't know what you were doing. Well, at 10 years old, you said, well, you were having sex well under the age of 11. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about 10 or 9 or 8? Because maybe your junk was functioning, but do you think at that age you could have taken care of a child? See, something that bothers me in our society is we've become so liberal. And by the way, I'm not liberal or conservative. I think they're all stupid. So don't argue politics with me, because I'm going to agree with every side about how stupid it is. That we've become so liberal that everybody is so hyper-focused on freedom of sexuality, and they're not at all focused on consequences of the action. And that's something that I take a lot of issue with. Sorry, y'all, puppy incident. So, okay, I'll talk about it at some point. That's for another video. But if you see some cuts, we're having some puppy issues. It's all right. It's all right. But anyway, okay, sorry, I'm trying to make this a serious video. But yeah, you're not formed to be able to, there's no, like, what is the consequence to sex? Yes, for a lot of people, sex can feel good. It's a natural thing. I'm not arguing any of that. But what's the consequence to sex? The consequence to sex is creating human life and putting human life at detriment to create human life. And I feel like the sacred nature of that has really been robbed from our society. Like, you know, my generation, I call us the Sex and the City generation, because we grew up with all this, like, yay, sex whenever you want, free love, blah, blah, blah. And of course, that's going to transfer to our children, or to many of our children, which is why our children have become hyper-sexualized in our society. And it's a shame. It's a shame, because you shouldn't be so irresponsible with the act of creating life. That's what sex is. Now, unless you're gay, and in that case, you know, have at it, have fun, just don't get sick, don't get diseases. Because, like, if you're gay, obviously, you know, gay, lesbian, whatever, then that's not what you're doing it for. And I'm not saying that's all sex is for, but I'm saying when it comes to heterosexuals, when it comes to people who can get pregnant, people who can create children, I feel like that is a part of us that we have stopped viewing as sacred. And I feel like I blame all sides, because on the one hand you have, I can rant on and on about this. On the one hand you have like the Christians and the extreme conservatives, and they come at it almost as like sex is evil and God and sins. Like, even when I was engaged to a couple people, I always had this weird feeling of sex is bad, because I grew up as Catholic. Funny enough, and they talk about Catholics, and they're a bunch of fucking pedophiles up at the top and in the organization anyway. But I digress. So it's this argument really, really bothers me, because, like, why isn't sex sacred anymore? Why isn't the act of creating another human being sacred? Why isn't it sacred? Like, why don't people think about that some women die during childbirth and pregnancy? Some women have lifelong complications. And it's just more like we think about the consequence of, like, oh, you can be burdened with a kid. And there's so much more. It's such a disrespect to the being that you're creating. So for my opinion, whoever this is talking, I'm not sure, no, at under 11 years old, whatever age that is, you don't know what you're doing. You can't deal with the consequences and the responsibility that come from sex. Can you really imagine? It's so gross to even think about. But like having to teach really, really young kids how to protect themselves from sex. Some of them can't even make their own fucking breakfast in the morning. And people want to entrust children with that responsibility. That's why it shouldn't happen. Period. Sorry guys if this looks off kilter or this looks different now. I'm having like, so poppers are getting into fights. The tech stops working. I've actually already filmed the video and now I have to come back and redo some of it. So I'm gonna try to get back on track. I apologize. Typically this doesn't happen. This is why I love filming. You'll see a lot of times it looks like it's late at night. There's not a lot of natural light because I'm kind of uninterrupted. But it's okay. Love my babies and tech stuff happens, right? So what I was saying was, on top of all the other psychological issues, so what am I referring to? What I'm referring to when I say psychological issues is, there's a lot of evidence and there's a lot of research out there in regard to what happens to children when they're molested or raped. Ugh, this is so disgusting, at a certain age. Many times that ends up breeding pedophiles because psychologically, that's where a child can get trapped into what they become attracted to. So it's not just that, there's a whole host of issues surrounding this. Why would you let's entertain it. I hate doing this, but let's entertain somebody who's a pedophile, right? Why would you want to create another possible pedophile so you could get your rocks off? I don't understand it. I truly, sorry, there's all kinds of stuff going on today. I truly don't understand it. And I think it's really, really disgusting.
But me, that I was too stupid to appreciate.
So yes, I completely agree with the commenter. You are too stupid to appreciate or understand what you're doing because you can't handle the consequences. You can't. You can't handle the consequences of having a child that young. The person you're with is either a pedophile who should be locked up, or if it's another child, they can't handle, the girl can't handle the consequences of having a child either. You could be killing her. And that should be, let's say you're even menstruating at that age. You get pregnant at 9 or 10, that can kill a child. So I don't care how good it feels or what you think about it, you're putting the other person's life in danger. Why should that be a question? Why? Is it because women's lives are going to be more devalued because men just need to get off? That's bullshit. That's what masturbation is for. That's why the adults around you convinced you that you didn't know what you were doing, because you didn't. And you should be taking the guidance and advice of adults in this situation.
Yeah, I think it depends on the child really, doesn't it? Because...
And here comes Sargon. Depends on the child, doesn't it? No, Sargon, it doesn't. We shouldn't be endangering our children and putting them in that position, whether or not it's psychological damage or for a young child, like a girl child, the physical damage of getting pregnant. No, we shouldn't. It doesn't depend on the child, it's just wrong. But here you go, guys. This is your I'm wearing a suit big boy going into politics. This is your future leader of the free fucking world right here, agreeing that it depends on the child. But you know what, Sargon? You're in great fucking company, aren't you? Because all those, not all, I don't want to say all, but a lot of those nasty fucking politicians, and we know Hollywood is filled to the brim with nasty fucking pedophiles. So I guess you're in the right place, aren't you?
Some kids...
That's what the Catholics say.
Well, it's true, and it's true though,
Did you catch that? The guy says, well, that's what the Catholics say in regard to what Sargon had said. And he was, well, it's true. We're now siding with the Catholics. Let me back up, because I grew up Catholic. A lot of people grew up Catholic. I'm not referring to just regular people that go to church, right? So don't be offended, because I'm not talking about you. But we're now siding with the pedophiles in the Catholic Church who want to advocate why pedophilia is okay. And you are trying to get into politics and prove what a big boy you are. Have people lost their damn minds? Have they lost their minds? Is UKIP really going to stand for this? And is UKIP really going to let this trash into their party? You had this this was the perfect opportunity to say, well, let me clarify, because I think I'm coming across wrong. And instead, Sargon, you double the fuck down and you side with the Catholic priests that are molesting children, that are pedophiles, they're raping. You are saying rape is okay depending on the child. That's disgusting. And people like you shouldn't be in politics. We have too many politicians that are either pedophiles or pro-pedophilia. We have too much in Hollywood. We have a lot of rich people that become that are pedophiles. And people wonder, well, how do these pedophiles become successful? Because they don't have a fucking conscience. Now, I'm not saying all of them. Some people are pedophiles, they struggle with it. They're trying to get help. That's great. I support that. I support anybody trying to better themselves. But to the ones who don't, if you don't give a shit to harm a child, of course you're going to do anything to make a fucking buck. This is our future politician, ladies and gentlemen. Depends on the child, Sargon.
It should really be a case-by-case basis, but I can see why the whole thing. But it's not really something I'd ever put too much thought into, to be honest.
It should be a case-by-case basis, and he doesn't put a lot of thought into it. I'm angry and disgusted, Sargon, that I have to tell you, not that I think you're going to watch this, but in case you do, in case you're one of those that, hate watches your videos, I don't, but maybe you do, that this is something, you're right, you shouldn't have to put a lot of thought into it, because it's wrong. It's wrong on every level. Just the fact that you're harming a child should be enough. But for these motherfuckers, that's not enough. It's not enough that you're just hurting a child, that it's wrong. That's not nearly enough for you to want to cut the argument off. So how about this? Little girls can die if they get pregnant that young. They can have lifelong consequences when it's that young, and they're not fully formed adults to be able to really make that decision and know the consequences. Period. But yeah, we've got to spell it out to these skeptics. These, pillars of moral society. They're so skeptical and look at all the sides of the coin. Apparently not. I don't know what the hell is going on in that community. There's so many weird sexual deviants, but this is just, I think, the tip of a really nasty iceberg. And by the way, I'm not saying that all the skeptics are pro-pedophiles. I'm not. But holy shit, there's some weird motherfuckers into some creepy shit and some justifications, aren't there? So, okay. I've gotten over that part, right? That all should have been common fucking sense 101. It is for most people, but some people like Sargon and the skeptics, it's not. So now, where's the hypocrisy in this? The absolute, beautiful creme de la creme, the juicy sweet hypocrisy is that this weekend, Sargon, this past weekend on Sunday, was like, I'm gonna out Medicare. People didn't know there was some big surprise coming about Medicare. So Sargon has this stream. It's ridiculous. It's absolute. I don't know where to begin. It's just there were tech issues. It was like a fucking me stream, and I'm stupid. But long story short, he tried to allude to that Mr. Medicare, that Jim, that this guy is a groomer and in pedophilia. This is what he was alluding to. It was disgusting, with really no evidence other than, well, Jim, he's a troll and hangs out with other young trolls. Like, it was stupid. So it's so funny Monday to see this come out, that, hold on, so Jim, you're trying to allude to as a pedophile, grooming kids and teenagers, yet you are all for the Catholic pedophiles, because it's a case-by-case basis, right? Like, how much more gross do you get? How much more gross do you get than when somebody is siding with the pedophiles? An age of consent. I don't really have any more words. The hypocrisy is amazing, but the situation is absolutely disgusting, isn't it? And unfortunately, there's some people that are so fucking awful, you have to spell this stuff out for them. And it drives me nuts, and that's why I rant about it. That's why I rant about it on the old channel. That's why I rant about it on this channel. So I wanted to put up the full clip of the Ralph retort, the whole context of what they talked about. So you can see that after this. There's also one where he's talking with this guy, Amos Yee. I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't know the situation well enough. I'm going to tell you guys up front, if I don't know a situation well enough, I'm going to tell you. Or if I'm giving an opinion where I don't know a lot about it, I'll tell you, hey, heads up, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know much about what this situation is or what I'm talking about in regard to this situation. So, but apparently Amos Yee, I think, was somebody who's pro-pedophile. I don't even want to say that because it's too harsh of an accusation to not know, but there's more. You can go look at the clip. Otherwise, it's gross. At least I hope we were able to find some joy and some sparkle in that disgusting bullshit. So yeah, just so you guys know, future leader of fucking UKIP, right here. I really hope UKIP fucking boots him. That's disgusting. There should never be a reason why it's okay to hurt children. And I don't give a shit about any mental gymnastics somebody goes through. I'm like, well, it makes one feel good. Who gives a shit? Go masturbate. Go fucking, go whack one. Go rub one out. I have no more words. I'm just gonna start stuttering because I'm irritated. Okay guys, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. Be happy to have you on the channel. And also, please leave a comment. To the people who hate watch me, remember, every comment you leave helps me in the algorithm, so please continue to leave comments. Alright guys, this has been JoySparklebS. Continue to be a blessing to yourselves and a blessing to others, and continue to try to find the joy in the sparkles and all the bullshit in the world, because this is, we're gonna have to. It's just some dark humor I've got, but the only way I deal with stuff like this, I have to laugh at it and go, wow, the hypocrisy is stupid. This is gross. Oh, okay, I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Mwah. Goodbye.
Yeah, I did. It's not good.
Give us your thoughts on it before we play it. Why don't you tell us? Don't tell us exactly what it says, but just your thoughts of how it's gonna kind of sit around the mouth. The wine tasting when you let it swirl around in your cup. You get a good whiff of it and put it in your mouth, and you swish it around your mouth. You want to get the full flavor. How do you think it's going to be received?
So when he was talking about gym grooming kids, I think that was projection.
Oh, that's where we're leaving.
Are you mean to tell me that Sargon is guilty of violating Sargon's law?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's bad, dude.
All right, I have it pulled up. Let's make it full screen. Let's go for the gusto. You know how we do it on the kill stream, right? All right, 53 seconds. You guys got it pulled up?
Of course.
Yep.
Let's hit it. Right now.
I think it depends on the child, really, doesn't it?
Wait, what?
What?
Huh? Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back for a second. Let's go back just 1 second. Let's restart this video. Surely this can't be right. This can't
It's
be.
got to
right.
be taken out of context, right?
It has to be. Look, what have you put, Zidane? What have you passed me? This can't. This is
Just
obviously
wait.
this is obviously a smear attempt against the great Carl of Akkad.
It's not, because the context is right after.
Oh, okay. I wanted to stop it. I didn't want to smear the guy. I just wanted to make sure. All right, let's play it again from the beginning. 53 seconds. Let's go.
I think it depends on the child, really, doesn't it?
What?
I was well under the age of 11 when I started having sex, and so what I like to do is put people on the other side of the argument. It's like, what you have to do is you have to say that someone like me, not anybody else, but me, that I was too stupid to appreciate the nature and quality of what I was doing at the time. So please convince me I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I think it depends on the child, really, doesn't it? Because
What?
some kids
That's what the Catholics say.
Well, it's true, and
Wait, what?
It's true, though,
No, wait a minute. Justicar says that's what the Catholics say, and then Sargon immediately follows that up with, "It's true." Huh?
I told you it got bad.
What? All right, let's go back. Let's go back here. We need to examine this. This is like the Zapruder film. Okay. Let's go back to 8 seconds. And let's just play it all the way through. Oh, we're gonna play it all the way through. 8 seconds. Let's go right now.
I was well under the age of 11 when I started having sex, and so what I like to do is put people on the other side of the argument. It's like, what you have to do is you have to say that someone like me, not anybody else, but me, that I was too stupid to appreciate the nature and quality of what I was doing at the time. So please convince me I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I think it depends on the child, really, doesn't it? Because some kids.
That's what the Catholics say.
Well, it's true, and it's true though. It should really be a case by case basis. But I can see why the whole thing. But it's not really something I'd ever put too much thought into, to be honest.
ending's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Oh.
Why would you say this? Why would you say it depends on the kid? No, it doesn't. It's wrong 100% of the time. There is no defending pedophilia.
Well,
Zero.
apparently, if you're a big brain nibble like Sargon of Akkad, there is. Depends on the child's, Dan.
No, it does not.
Some are ready
The guy
to be.
literally told
Some
him-
children, according to Carl, some children are ready to be molested.
And the guy literally told him to argue the opposite. But Sargon goes in there, is like, well, it goes, ho, 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 ho. What the fuck, Sargon? I guess he agrees with Destiny after all.
We talked about tweeting at the BBC. I mean, this is worse than the white nigger comment. To be honest with you, what the fuck? That's really
There's
something
another
else.
one.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, where he helps out Amos Yee when he's giving a speech.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. He
Where
butts
is
in
this?
every time. Give me 1 sec. I'll link it to you.
Oh, by the way,
Reset that clock.
All right, so what do we have here with this videos, Dan? What should we do?
So how many clips I make? I made 1, 2, 3. So the first one we play for about a minute.
To
And it's just-
6:12.
Yeah. And then the next one for about a minute and a half. It's just, they're short clips. So I've clipped them all out so you can just click them and it should go straight
Very
to the spot.
Awesome, I have to say. All right, the first one, 5:21 until 6:12, correct?
Yep.
Really don't like this guy, but hopefully he actually has something. Let's continue at 5:21.
But why were you deplatformed?
I was deplatformed because, yeah, people misrepresent my views and say that, because I had this opinion last year that I wanted to perhaps like consider reducing the age of consent for children.
Right.
And for having
when we say children, I think we should be specific.
Exactly.
Because I think you mean teenagers, don't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you mean like 5-year-olds or something, do you? Or do you? You might. So tell me what your opinion is.
Now that's like, now you see, I think that like 14, 13-year-olds, if they decide to have sex with adults, like it should be fine. And many people have done it secretly, and that should be fine. Now in terms of, and I think that's completely reasonable.
Okay, so that's the first bit. Now the second is 7:20 to 9:15. That clip in and of itself is a disaster for Sargon,
Right. Why is he helping Amos Yee?
What is he doing?
Why would you even say, oh, you mean teenagers? No, Amos Yee means fucking babies.
You require more Vespine gas.
Yes. Lots more Vespian gas.
Gas.
I don't think you mean like 5-year-olds or something, do you? You know, that sounds like you want adults to prey on children. But
Exactly.
It's actually not as controversial as you think. That means the Dutch are terrible criminals as well.
Exactly.
And
Wait, what?
yeah, I think it's important to note that you're not taking any action. These are just your opinions, aren't they? Like the ancient Greeks practiced pederasty, and it was considered completely normal, where young boys would have relationships, but they weren't just
What the
they weren't
fuck?
exploitative relationships. They were sexual.
Exactly.
They were also it was like a pair bonding, like a mentoring
Yeah.
relationship. It was very strange, and I don't agree with any of this.
Somebody's going to misrepresent you and
Someone
me
is
and say
going-
we're
yeah.
going to abuse
So
children.
someone is
Yeah.
going to misrepresent me trying to accurately represent your position. Throughout history, there have been many examples of pederasty. I mean, it still happens in Afghanistan now. I mean, no one wants to talk about that, you know. But
Making sure that, yes, we'll reduce the age of consent laws, but making it clear in society that we will punish people who exploit children. I think if you do it that way, you know, there won't be a huge increase.
so so it seems that you're concerned that there are sexual relationships that are consensual between, say, a 13-year-old and an adult, and these people are being punished for something that wasn't harmful. Is that correct?
That they don't like, yeah.
Does it come from a kind of more libertarian perspective then? Is it that you don't
Libertarian!
agree with the idea of government imposing laws like this, or is that the age of consent laws, for example? Do you find that is it at all a libertarian perspective you're approaching this from?
Libertarian?
Yeah, like you prefer to have less government intervention in human activity.
That was quite the clip, I have to say. Now this is
Yeah,
at
it's not good.
12:18 until the end.
Scary because, you know,
yeah,
now
well-
5 years old would technically be legally allowed to have sex with adults.
Yeah.
The reason that's fine is because, 3 to 5 year olds, if an adult has sex with them, they probably wouldn't be, wouldn't
Certainly
consent,
not.
certainly,
Yeah.
sure. And they'd still be punished.
He's helping him
because there are still rape laws.
Right, yeah.
So if, let's say, somebody doesn't